If you're a keynote speaker or you want to be, then a book gives you more opportunities to speak. In effect, it's a menu of subjects to choose from because your book is likely to cover not just one topic, it's likely to address a number of sub-issues. When Jacqueline Moore and I wrote The 7 Failings of Really Useless Leaders, the model contained 4 things that companies can do and 3 things, that's difficult to do, 3 things that individuals can deal with. And that's already 2 keynotes just there. That wasn't deliberate, by the way, it's just how the model evolved. Secondly, and this is a key point to consider, having a book means that companies looking for speakers will find you automatically. Their business model depends on finding new speakers all the time. Maitrey O'Brien, author of The New Leaders of Change, is a client of ours who's become a good friend now. And her experience was astonishing. I still have this WhatsApp message where she told me she had 3 requests for podcast interviews and a keynote just weeks after launching her book, and all automatically. This is not to say that you don't need to proactively seek out opportunities for speaking, and we share some ways that you can do that. But just in promoting your book, you alert people to the fact that you have a story to tell. Some pragmatic nudges along the way are adding mentions in your book that you speak. Tell stories in the book about previous speeches that you've given. Talk about the audiences that you've spoken with, questions that you've got at your events. Maitrey explicitly says in her book that if you're looking for a keynote on this topic, then get in touch. One of the reasons your book is such a powerful magnet for meeting planners and companies looking for speakers is that your book automatically portrays you as a credible speaker. And that's because of your research. So make sure to share your unique research in your book. For years, Linda Grattan has shared the results from her research consortia. Leadership Unplugged was my doctoral research. Leadership FM contained our research on the facilities management industry. The 7 Failings was looking at my studies of leadership failure in companies. And while each book is different, each one can also be positioned 3 different ways, as relevant for the organization, or for groups and teams, or for individuals, the typical 3 levels of analysis. Now that means you can offer much the same keynote tailored to companies for their people, or to associations where you might be talking more about what companies should be doing. Big point this, you don't have to hard sell yourself. Meeting planners will choose you because of the cachet of being an author. Here's Ray Dalio being interviewed on the BBC's flagship Newsnight program. He's an American billionaire investor. He's an important hedge fund manager, at one time working for the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates. But the BBC still labels him as an author. As well as the cachet of being an author and how that positions you for the audience, the fact that you're an author is also reassuring for the meeting planners. They don't need to justify choosing you. You are an author. No one ever got fired for buying from IBM, right? So back to your question, Will, how do you generate leads for keynotes? I've already said people will find you because they're out there looking for speakers. It's their business model. But you can find some of those opportunities directly for yourself when you search on this phrase, call for speakers. They're out there, Will. You can also get more specific when you search on call for speakers plus leadership, or whatever your topic happens to be, or call for speakers plus topic plus location. So where do you want to go? What markets do you want to break into? Google has the answer. What you may find, though, is that these calls for speakers may be too generic and not quite on topic for you. So create a list of the ideal companies and associations that you want to work with. Big companies, yes, but look especially for industry and professional associations, because every member of those audiences could hire you, bring you into their company. Big win there. Look particularly for what I call hub conferences, conferences that everybody goes to. There's more competition for speaking slots, but with a book, you will have a much better chance of being chosen. Don't forget to look regionally and internationally. The Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development has a huge event in Harrogate, north of England, as well as in London. Write to chapters of the Society for Human Resource Managers, whoever your big association is, and go directly to them saying, my book is exactly on the topic you've chosen for this event. Sometimes contacting the CEO directly works well if you know the issue is very pertinent to the organization. Finally, mail or call your existing contacts and clients and ask them, what conferences and meetings do you go to? you'll get some great answers. And also, it reminds them that you do keynotes. And because you already have a relationship here, your approach will be fairly straightforward, especially if you have a new book. Don't forget to have a speaker page written specifically for meeting planners, an easy to remember page, yourwebsite.com/speaker. Back to your question, Will. How do you close agreements? Firstly, lead your pitch with your book, because your book is a tangible credibility asset. Your book differentiates you from other speakers at the choice stage. So make your book the distinguishing factor. It proves you've got great content because the session will be based around your book or themes from your book. You should also point out how your book will enhance their event. A book signing, for example, is always exciting and it looks so professional. Whether or not people buy your book, everyone can see what's going on. You could also use a questionnaire or a reading from your book as pre-work, as an introduction to the session before people attend. Most speakers just rock up and go. If you show concern for what's happening in company before and after the event, you're differentiating yourself from those other ordinary speakers. Now, for a corporate engagement, you could offer a signed book as a gift for staff. So offer copies of your book to the company with a heavy discount. It usually comes from a different budget and it adds to your income from the session. It won't be much, but every little helps. Associations may not want to buy a book for everyone, but they could offer the book on sale to staff for signing, attendees right after your session or at the lunch break, as well as helping the meeting planner to shape their event. Point out how your book excites attendees, enhancing the event still further. I mean, the output of a keynote, after all, is excited people. And with a souvenir of you, a piece of you, and a link to you to carry on the conversation, they're going to be very excited about your session. Yes, make sure you give the email address from the stage, but do everything you can to get the book in their hands as they leave the keynote. Overall, then, you should highlight how your book brings a different quality of experience to a keynote. The material you're sharing is, of course, rooted in something aspirational, but it's tangible. It's not just stuff out of your head. People take away a high-level belief based in something tangible, referenceable, if there's such a word, even if they don't buy your book. Got to say, speakers with books have a very different look and feel. They create more satisfaction. I went to such and such a talk. I got the book. The audience feels even more attached to your material and to you than a solo keynote speaker without a book. Don't underestimate this. Your book creates follow-up impact. Again, your impact goes beyond the event. This is important because usually implementation and follow-up is pitiful. Remember, if people do get your book, they will put you on the shelf by their desk when they get back home or to the office. You become a tangible part of their life, a living reminder of the great session you just gave. So make sure in your book there's a link to your website for other resources. Also, as we've said, remind them that you work as a speaker. You never know who's in the audience or who's got your book looking for someone just like you. Fifth point, Will, having a book creates testimonials, tangible proof that your message resonated. Lines of people getting books signed. Organizers notice these things. So you'll get testimonials from individuals who've had a deep and meaningful experience at your session. Now, testimonials and feedbacks from organizers, they regularly mention your book. It's a signing. It's a tangible proof of impact. So book is a huge commercial asset. If you're a keynote speaker or if you want more keynotes, having a book transforms your ability to win keynotes, to deliver even better keynote experiences for the people attending your session. So it's better sessions for the organizers, better session for you, and it generates follow-up keynotes because you will be asked back. Final tip, make sure the title of your keynote is the title of your book. That is why the title of your book is so important. Title of your book equals title of keynote, win, win, all round.